welcome to your. All right. Welcome to this lesson summary, something. All right. So we were talking about how to memorize the notes on the sixth and the fifth strings, respectively. So what we were using was something called the guidepost system, where we have the notes, the notes on the open strings, which are E on the sixth string, and A on the fifth string. We establish that. Then the other thing we establish is the notes at the fifth fret of those same strings, which in this case the sixth string is A, and the case of the fifth string is D. Okay, so let's look at just the sixth string. So we have E at the open as well as the 12th, right, the octave, and then we have A at the fifth fret. Okay. Now we're going to look at things in terms of like what notes happen 2 frets above and 2 frets below each of these guideposts. So if I'm looking at it like here's the E at the 12th fret, we're going to look at the notes that are 2 frets behind it at the 11th and the 10th respectively, and then the 2 notes that are above it at the 13th and the 14th respectively. So below it we had D sharp or E flat, and below that we had D. Okay, so D, D sharp or E flat, E. And then if we went the other way, we went from E, we went up a half step, which is F, and then up another half step is F sharp or G flat. So now we've covered those 5 notes. So D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat. Now F and F sharp or G flat also happen here in the open position, down the octave at the first and second frets, as well as E being open on the sixth string. So the other guidepost we have is the fifth fret. Okay, now in the case of the sixth string, that gives us an A note. Now below it, by 1 half step, is an A flat or a G sharp. And below that is the G natural. Okay, so G natural, the 3rd fret, G sharp or A flat, the 4th fret, A natural. Okay, so those are the 2 notes that we find below it. The 2 notes that we find above, so here's our A, 1 step above is A sharp or B flat, and then the next step above that is B. Okay, so now we've covered these 5 notes. G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B. Okay, so we get 5 notes covered from the 5th fret, right, this whole range. So there's the 5th fret, and here's 2 frets below, and here's 2 frets above. And then we did the same thing at the 12th fret, where we had 2 frets below and 2 frets above. And so that covers another 5 frets. Okay, so we've covered, and that also includes 1 and 2. So we've covered 0 through 2 from the E guidepost, and then we've covered 3 through 7 with the A guidepost, and then we've also covered 10 through 12, and then up to 13 and 14 as well, of course, from that 12th guidepost. So that leaves 2 notes that we didn't talk about, and that would be the 8th fret and the 9th fret. These are, because of the way that math works out, right, we're using 2 guideposts that yield 5 notes, and there are 12 notes in the full cycle. There's obviously going to be 2 that we don't get to on each string. So those are the ones you just have to memorize. In the case of the 6th string, we have C at the 8th fret and C sharp or D flat at the 9th fret. Okay, so those are the 2 you have to memorize that are outside of the guidepost system. Okay, the next string, A, is on the open and 12th fret. That's the same note we had at the 5th fret as a guidepost, right? So it's going to be the same notes. 2 below is G, 1 below is G sharp or A flat, A, 1 above is A sharp or B flat, 1 more above is B. That repeats back down here. A sharp or B flat, B. Okay, now our new guidepost is going to be D. Okay, that's at the 5th fret of the 5th string. 1 step below that is going to give us D flat or C sharp. Okay, and 1 below that's going to give us C. Now above it we have, so D, then D sharp or E flat, and then 1 more above that is E. Okay, so again we've covered all of the frets except for the 8th and 9th. And on this string it's F and F sharp or G flat. Now that's the thing that you can help use to help memorize the notes on those 2 missing frets, is that it's a natural note at on the 8th fret and an accidental on the 9th fret on both cases. It just is, first one's C and C sharp or D flat, and then the next one's F or an F sharp or G flat. Okay, so that's the guidepost system on trying to memorize notes on the sixth and fifth strings. That's an important thing to do because a lot of the chords that we're going to be using, all these movable chord shapes, will have their roots on either the sixth or the fifth strings. Okay, so you have to know where to place these shapes in order to move them appropriately through a piece of music. Okay, so do your best to memorize those. Woo!